Chapter 2. The First Clue. The sun barely peeked over the horizon as I sat on the edge of my bed, heart racing. My eyes darted around the room, searching for any sign of the mask. It had vanished without a trace, but the lingering sense of its presence remained. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, even though I was alone. The air was thick, oppressive. I knew I had to act fast. Whatever was happening, it was no coincidence. Marcus's death, the mask's disappearance, it was all connected. I grabbed my notebook, flipping through the pages I had scribbled down about the mask. My fingers trembled as I revisited the merchant's words.
Some things are better left untouched.
What did he mean? What did I unleash? Determined to find answers, I dressed quickly and made my way back to the marketplace. It was early and the streets were quiet, but my mind was anything but. The few vendors setting up their stalls gave me wary glances as I hurried past. I reached the spot where the elderly merchant had been, only to find it empty. No sign of him or his mysterious artifacts. I turned in frustration, about to leave, when a soft voice called out behind me.
Looking for something?
I spun around to see a young woman, her eyes sharp and curious. She stood in the shadows, her posture relaxed but her gaze intense. Yes, I replied cautiously. There was an elderly man here yesterday selling artifacts. Do you know him? She smiled faintly.
I know of him, but he's not here anymore. He comes and goes as he pleases. People like him, they're guardians of secrets, not sellers of goods.
Her words sent a shiver down my spine. Guardians of secrets? I echoed. I need to find him. It's important. She stepped closer, her expression serious.
You've taken something you don't understand, haven't you? The mask.
My breath caught. How do you know about that?
Because I've seen its effects before,
she said, her voice low.
You've awakened something ancient, dangerous. If you don't act quickly, it will consume you.
My mind raced. What do I do? How do I stop it? She hesitated, then motioned for me to follow her.
Come, there's someone who might be able to help.
We wound through narrow alleys until we reached a small, secluded hut on the outskirts of the market. The young woman knocked softly, and the door creaked open to reveal an older man, his eyes clouded with age but still sharp with wisdom.
This is Nana Kofi,
she explained.
He's a historian and a keeper of Ashanti traditions.
Nana Kofi eyed me carefully.
You have come seeking answers about the mask,
he stated, not asked. Yes, I replied. It's cursed. People are dying. It's doing something to me. He nodded slowly, gesturing for us to sit.
The Adinkra mask is no ordinary artifact. It holds the spirit of King Obeng, a ruler betrayed by his own kin. His anger is bound to the mask, seeking justice or vengeance. Those who come into possession of it become part of his curse.
My stomach churned. So how do I break the curse? How do I stop this? Nana Kofi leaned back, his expression grave.
To break the curse, you must understand its origins. You must trace the mask's path, uncover the betrayal, and find a way to appease King Obeng's spirit. Only then will you find peace.
I felt a wave of hopelessness wash over me. This was more than I had bargained for. How do I do that? The young woman who had been silent spoke up.
There's a legend, a hidden temple where King Obeng's story is etched in stone. It's deep in the forest, a place where few dare to go.
Nana Kofi nodded.
Find the temple, understand the story, and perhaps you'll find a way to lift the curse.
The journey to the temple was fraught with uncertainty. Armed with little more than a flashlight and a growing sense of dread, I ventured into the dense forest. The trees loomed overhead, their branches forming a canopy that blocked out the sun. The air was thick with the scent of earth and decay. Every step felt heavier than the last. The sounds of the forest seemed amplified. The rustling leaves, the distant calls of unseen creatures. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that the mask's influence had followed me here. Hours passed before I finally stumbled upon the temple. It was ancient, overgrown with vines, and barely distinguishable from the surrounding forest. The stone walls were carved with intricate symbols, telling a story I couldn't yet decipher. I stepped inside, my footsteps echoing in the cavernous space. The air was cool and damp, the light from my flashlight casting eerie shadows on the walls. I moved deeper into the temple, my heart pounding. There, in the center of the room, was an altar. On it, a stone tablet inscribed with Adinkra symbols. I approached cautiously, running my fingers over the carvings. The story of King Obeng unfolded before me, his rise to power, his betrayal, and his death. The final symbol was one I recognized from the mask: vengeance. As I stood there, the ground beneath me seemed to shift. The air grew colder, and a faint whisper echoed through the temple. I spun around, my flashlight flickering. A shadow moved across the wall, and the whisper grew louder. My breath came in short gasps as I realized the truth. I wasn't alone. The curse was alive, and it wasn't going to let me go so easily.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of The Curse of the Adinkra Mask audio series. This incredible journey was crafted by ThE Creative Studios. And we're thrilled to have you with us. If you enjoyed what you heard, please show your support. Kindly like, share, and comment on our episode. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button on all our social media channels. Just search for ThE Creative Studios on TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and every other streaming platform out there to keep up with our captivating stories and exciting content. Join our growing community and stay entertained with fresh, thrilling tales curated just for you.